here to address a real issue.
This is a PSA for everyone.
Public service announcement.
Don't let your kids play with cats.
You can't let a cat eat your vagina because it has that rough tongue. What did she call it? An exfactant?
Exfoliate?
Nah, it's kind of like that, and that's what I'm saying. You can't use a cat. Dog doesn't have that. That's why they used to teach that in sex ed, but now...
I thought it was just because dogs like peanut butter and cats don't.
I don't think you have to bribe the cat. The cat's like fish.
Gotcha.
The tuna boxes.
The tuna boxes.
And I think now that they don't teach that in sex ed, that's why you see such an uptick in feline
accidents,
feline vaginal accidents in the emergency room scenes.
I wonder how underreported that is.
What happens when the dog gets priapism and it can't get released? When that knot's stuck in there. How many times has that been brought into an emergency room?
Oh, you just hit them both down with a hose.
Not if the dog's been taking what's it called?
Cialis?
What's the blue one? Viagra. May cause priapism and erection lasting longer than 4 hours.
I didn't know that dogs took that, but
well, I mean, I don't think there's a lot of people running around fucking their dogs. But if they are, they're probably giving them Viagra. I'll bet you if you Google it, I'll bet you there's a whole statistic database out there on that. I bet Skully doesn't have the beard hair issue on his Galil.
Of course not, because that's a side folder. It's a side folder, and the Jews, they're known for their beards, so that could have something to do with it too.
My boss rolls around in a G-Wagon. I helped him bring in some gifts a few months back, and after seeing the interior, I don't even want to ride in it. Catching the clip of your pocket knife on that upholstery is a financial catastrophe. Yes, let me tell you all about that. The knife's not the problem, because that's in my right pocket. It's getting in and out of the Range Rover that has the piping on the seats, the leather piping. So when I carry a Surefire flashlight right here, every car I have worn a Surefire in has extreme damage to the leather seats.
To the piping?
Yeah. It's 5:08 Wednesday, May 1st, podcast episode
May already.
95.
April, May, June, July. When's Blade Show? When did we decide Blade Show was?
Like 4 weeks.
Jesus.
95, podcast episode 95.
I'm already tired. Some 4 weeks there.
I'm ready.
John's ready.
I'm ready. I had a bunch of posters made. I've already had them signed.
Good.
I just had them made with my signature on it. So I don't have to stand there and sign posters. I can just have
it's already signed.
So you just come in, and we actually have a poster dispenser. So you put your $10 in there, and it
that would be cool.
Puts a poster out. My boss rolls around. What did you think about the Honduran government firing on the protesters there? I bet they stopped protesting.
Yeah, I hadn't actually heard about a Honduran government firing on protesters.
I didn't know Honduras even had a government.
Venezuela just started firing on their protesters.
That's probably what he
running them over in their armored vehicles. But I also saw that the head of their secret police is now siding with the opposition. So I'm sure the Maduro thing is going to be over soon.
How many Nazis are down there?
In Venezuela? None.
You don't think so?
No. Hell no.
Where are they?
They're on the other side. They're in Argentina. If we wouldn't be having these problems if there was any Nazis in Venezuela.
Correct.
This problem wouldn't be going on.
Correct, gotcha. The Mahindra Roxors are not street legal. They do sell kits to make them legal. There is also a company that will flash the ECU with a power tune. They have a 3-cylinder turbo diesel engine.
Oh, I like that turbo diesel.
Yeah.
Because then I can, when the end of the world happens, I can peanut farm and make my own fuel.
Man, I want to say 2020 is the year that the Toyotas get diesels.
Yeah, I think so.
On the Mark 11 was the U.S. Optic SR4C. They have one on eBay. Right meow. If so, I really want one for my AR.
You know what? I would. It was. I think it was the SR4, but I don't know about the C. This was an older one. I've had it for. God, I probably had that optic for 15, 20 years. It was an older one. It was really for the M14. They designed it for the M14, and I put it on the Mark 11. But fucking bulletproof.
Skully, can you confirm the first flag raised by an American over Mount Suribachi was actually the Confederate flag? I went there with my unit in 2007 and vividly remember hearing a captain telling us the story of a man from Texas having the flag in his helmet and raising his smaller flag first. Everything I have read never says that it was actually the Confederate flag. Not that it makes much difference. It's just a story I remember hearing.
Yeah, it wasn't a Confederate flag. It wouldn't have surprised me if there was Confederate flags going across that beach, and I'm sure that there were guys carrying Confederate flags. But the first flag that went up on top of Mount Suribachi was a small American flag. There's actually videos of both flags going up. So there were people taking pictures of when the first flag went up and pictures when the second flag went up. The only reason why the second flag went up like that is because the flag officers, the people with all the stuff up here were like, it needs to be bigger. Let's put another one up there. Who cares if Marines are still getting shot at? Get another flag up there. And so they put another flag up there. But it was an American flag. There's actually video. I believe there's video of both raising, or both flags going up. But there's definitely pictures of both flags.
How come Saving Private Ryan is the best movie in the world ever?
How come Saving Private Ryan is the best movie? I don't know if I would say it's the best, but it's pretty... I would say it's pretty accurate.
How come Pearl Harbor is also one of the best movies?
No, Pearl Harbor is the worst fucking movie ever made.
I saw it 185 times.
Oh my god, that movie is so terrible. So terrible. It shouldn't even be called a war movie.
185 times, Joe.
Why did you see that 185 times?
Because I only own two DVDs.
Because that was the only one you saw.
That's the one you gave me.
Yeah, that Pearl
While I
Harbor
was passed out, incapacitated, delirious for a week. It just played over and over and over and over. And I actually know all the lines to it.
Sorry, Ben Affleck, but it was a terrible movie.
How about the tank one? That was a really good one. How come war movies like
the tank
are
one?
just
What tank one?
The tanks? Wasn't George Clooney in it and Brad Pitt and
the tank one?
The tank one.
I don't remember.
How about
when you say the tank?
How about Bear Jew?
There was a when you say the tank, there was a Russian movie called The Tank.
No. This is a U.S. movie. U.S. servicemen in tanks.
Oh, Brad Pitt. It's you're talking recent, right?
Yeah.
That's a really good movie too. That's actually a really good depiction of. It's a really good depiction of real, like, the attitude towards real combat.
How about
I got a phone call from Toronto, Canada. Yeah,
Amanda gets phone calls every day from like Bali, all kinds of places in Africa, like constant. Every fucking, we'll be in the car, we'll be in the truck, and it'll just come across, and it'll be like New South Wales, fucking Africa, different places in Africa. There's so many countries that come across. I actually have to look it up and go, where the fuck is that?
She should start answering the phone and saying this: I don't have a lot of time. Just drop it in the mail and send it to me, and then hang up.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the most recent World War II movie where they were in? I want to say they were in France and they had taken over this castle and they were doing all these experiments.
Oh, the zombie one.
Yeah. Did you see it?
I have not seen it.
It was fucking good, man.
I have not seen it.
I actually really enjoyed that. There's a scene where they're going in and they grab up one of their dudes, right? And they're giving him this fucking superpower shit, right? They're working on all these dudes. And there's this lady just crying and saying shit in France and partial broken English and shit. And they move the thing back and it's just her head. They have just her head. They have reanimated just her brain. So her head's there talking like, kill me, save me, all kinds of shit. And it's just her fucking head.
Interesting that John brings that up. Recently, some crazy ass fucking scientists here in the United States decided they were going to use this special goo to reanimate a pig that had been dead for 4 hours. And they put this special goo in there to get the brain to start firing again. And the brain of these pigs started firing again. They used 9 heads, and they reanimated these heads. But here's the funny thing. The funny thing is they were like, we were monitoring very carefully to make sure that the pigs did not regain consciousness.
The fuck do you care?
First off, yeah, why do you care? And second, that's how you get zombies. That's really how you get zombies. Your goal is to reanimate the entire brain except being self-aware. You're lucky those pigs didn't start fucking biting on you guys.
Not only that, they're fucking pigs. Like, when did we get so fucking touchy-feely? I'm in these oddities groups, right? Dead shit.
Dead shit.
Stuff like skeletons and making other animals out of other fucking animals and shit. Like crazy shit, right? Monsters and like mad scientists, like cool shit, right? But it's always like 4 dead possums, ethically sourced. What the fuck do you care? They're goddamn possums. They're fucking dead.
Ethically sourced.
Everything's ethically sourced. You'll put a picture up of some shit and they're like, is that ethically sourced? What the fuck do you care? It's a dead fucking animal, you cunt.
I wonder what because that's kind of like
what it is
all that bullshit that they do in the supermarket about
free range chicken.
Free range chicken.
We petted your chicken. We petted your chicken. Killed it.
That just sounds like some bullshit, and it also sounds like I don't want to get sued, so I'm just going to say this. It's ethically sourced. What do you mean ethically sourced? Are you picking up roadkill?
They are picking up roadkill.
Is that ethically sourced? If the animal got run over by a car?
It's also like trap lines, live catch traps. I'm sure people are trapping that shit and then drowning it. I don't give a fuck.
It's just stupid.
There's a bunch of like you see Great Danes quite a bit. Like I want a Great Dane puppy skeleton. And then I want a full-size skeleton. I want a giraffe and a little giraffe. I want a full fucking 27-foot giraffe skeleton. I'm literally going to cut a hole in the floor, and his head's going to be up top like, hey, dudes, what's up? And
this guy had
to be downstairs.
This guy, just thinking of what you just said, there's this famous dude. I can't remember his name. I just saw it the other day, but famous. And I want to say it's either the 20s or the 30s. He's like, I will donate my body to the Smithsonian. And the Smithsonian's like, cool. But he's like, but I have this really cool dog, this wolfhound, and I would like him to be close to me wherever I go. And so the Smithsonian, he's got this picture. They have this picture in the Smithsonian of him standing upright, and the wolfhound's got its paws on his thing, and it's standing like this.
Skeleton.
And so they arranged the skeleton in the exact same pose.
That's cool. Yeah. I thought about digging that wolfhound up we buried just to get the skeleton out of it.
I wonder how it would.
Because we put it all in a bat. We put it all in like.
It would all be there, but I wonder how.
What stage of decomposure?
It might still be a little.
We could take it and put beetles in it.
Yeah.
But so they have all these puppies, right? You see them all the time in jars. They call them wet specimens. Mm-hmm. And you like a lot of people just preserve them in alcohol because the other shit is very carcinogenic. But you can buy the other shit. It's basically formaldehyde labeled under another name. Mm-hmm. You can buy it right off Amazon. I've got 4 gallons of it out there. And they inject it into the animal, throughout the animal, and preferably you get it up in the system, like embalmment with it.
Right.
So you see all these puppies that are like short-term, like fetal deaths or whatever, or mom died. There's a lot of them, so maybe like the reality of it is that those animals are worth more dead than alive.
Yeah, dead than alive.
Because there's so many of them. I'm sure there's people working at these places, and as they euthanize these animals, they just fucking.
What a perfect thing! What a perfect way to keep a program open. If you have to euthanize animals anyways.
Yeah, rather than incinerate them, fucking let
why not
get
profit
some
off
use out of them.
Why not profit off the hide? But you don't. Obviously, you don't
can't
want
be the hide. So animal fur. So because of the fur trade bullshit, it is illegal. It is illegal to sell taxidermied animals. You can take your pet and have it taxidermied, but you cannot sell on the open market cat fur, dog fur.
So
has to be preserved wet specimen or skeleton.
So if I had Cruella de Vil's coat that was made out of Dalmatians, I couldn't sell it.
Correct.
That's ridiculous.
It's only us. It's only the fucking United States that gives a shit. You think China's not doing that shit still? Of course they are.
China still eats dogs. A fucking ton of them. Semi-trucks full of fucking dogs.
But it's all this ethically sourced shit. I'm like, anytime I see it and it's something I'm interested in, I go, I'll take this, but I'd rather have an unethically sourced one. I only buy blood diamonds, and I only drink coffee that's grown with slave labor. You fucking little bitch. I don't get it, man. Skully, can you confirm? We did that one. I have a question that I meant to ask when I was at the shop. Max Lozano, what's up, buddy? What is that salty-looking subload that is in the display case after you first walk in on the left? Love this podcast. Hope it keeps going. A man brought that to me at Blade Show a few years ago. Handed it to me and said, I bought this from you at the shop in Oceanside, which places him purchasing that between 2000, 2001, too, maybe. He said it had over 10 fucking deployments on it. It had been to Iraq, Afghanistan, Africa, and several other locations. When we built gear in the beginning, it was all black, and then sometimes it was OD with black trim, or it was tan with black trim. And they would come in. It was usually SEALs that we would see do this, but the Marine Corps, when they actually started really going places, they did it too. In training, it had to be the proper color, a lot of woodland stuff. But hey, we just got fucking warning orders, we're out the door 72 hours, all that was out the window. So they'd take anything we had and they would spray paint it. And that's what that shit was. It's just over time, the paint has wore off. When we would sell gear to these guys, when they would first get it, they would hang it on Humvees and even back then Jeeps. And they would just fucking take that bitch and just drive around with that gear on the outside because it would just be fucking dusted, and within an hour that black gear would all be the color of the terrain anyways. Plus we saw a lot of times they would take and just cry line it. Like it was nothing for us to go to Las Vegas with a truckload of guns and lay them out on fucking Rex Road's driveway and just fucking rattle can them bitches.
Oh, fuck. That would have made a great picture, just the silhouettes of the guns spray painted on his driveway.
Deputies are no longer responding to calls in Portland.
Yes, Portland is falling apart, and it's falling apart because of the leadership within Portland. I saw a couple of pretty good town hall meetings where people were like, hey, we have these problems, and the city council was actually laughing at these people, these actual taxpayers, who were bitching about these problems, and then they were like, just call the police. And they're like, we call the police, but they won't come. Because the city is falling fucking apart.
What that says is...
What I would do, honestly, if I was a shop owner, if you're a shop owner or a homeowner, and there's a bunch of people camped out in the back of your store or whatever, and they're lighting shit on fire and doing all crazy, this is what I would do.
A little pepper spray. Works every time.
I would spend the money. I would get me a little bus. I would go and rent a bus or a van or something, and I'd be like, hey guys, check it out. As cool as it is here, it is so much cooler at the mayor's house. Come on, let's go. And I would drive every fucking single one of them over to the mayor's house and drop them off. Maybe even give them $10 a piece. Be like, hey, here's $10. Hang out, have a party. The mayor loves it. You know what? Matter of fact, you should probably go into the mayor's actual property area and camp out. You'll be a lot safer in there because the mayor's not going to call the police. That's what I would be doing if I was in Portland.
We had some transients around Oceanside. You didn't see them a lot, but our building had a cutout that was like the Alamo. It looked like the Alamo in the front, and we had 2 wrought iron gates. And that portico area like stepped back, so there was an area of about 3 feet by the front big glass window on each side of the building. And this transient rolls up there, throws his sleeping bag out there, and walks in and proceeds to tell us that he's going to be staying there. And I said, I don't think that's going to happen. And he said something to the effect of, you can't stop me. And Jared Johnson said, oh yeah? And he literally grabbed a fucking can of pepper spray and walked past the dude. He didn't pepper spray the dude. Jared walked out and pepper sprayed the dude's shit and walked back in and closed the door. We never saw that dude again. We never saw that man again. Jared was pretty good. Like, he'd do some crazy shit. I always thought he was kind of timid, but when it was time to...
I would have probably thrown water on the guy.
Jared, fucking pepper spray worked.
Pepper spray worked. Yeah, that's a good idea.
You just fucking... In somebody's general direction, they will vacate. John, one of the podcasts, you mentioned about the Navy SEAL who was training Keanu Reeves, and there was rickety going on as far as safety. I did some of my own digging, and that SEAL's name is Sean Ryan, and from what I could see and find out, is that he now teaches firearms shooting and safety, and I'm a bit confused about why he's flagging Reeves. Have you looked into it more, or have you seen anything else yet? I haven't, Gunner. Everything I've seen and heard about the dude is the dude's fucking 100%, like, squared the fuck away. He had it's not like a shooting safety school. It's a gunfighting school. He moved from somewhere to Franklin, which is where Dana is an alderman, our attorney. Bought some beautiful property, a lot of it apparently, and has just a killer facility.
And this is going to be one of those truth be told, so go ahead and drink. He's not a Navy SEAL.
What?
He's not a Navy SEAL anymore.
Anymore, okay. I was going to say.
No, but
I watched some of his videos, and he has these videos like this, these videos where he gets 10 frogmen together and they're telling crazy past stories. There's some good shit in there, guys.
Everybody, that Navy SEAL is cool. Navy SEAL is cool. It's cool, but he's a graduate. He's a what do you call it?
Retired?
I don't know if he retired or not, but he is a former member of the Army of Northern Virginia.
What?
Way cooler than being a Navy SEAL. Yeah, he's a former ninja. He's a former real. So he took
explain to them what that actually
instead
is.
of going to Dev Group. So there's two things that you can. There's two,
and that group of dudes is made up of. It's comprised of the best from everywhere.
There's two ways you can go. There's two ways you can go when you get to the top tier of the military. You can go
CIA.
You can go to Delta Force or MARSOC or Dev Group. You can go over there, and for the most part, that's kind of like. That's kind of like all your shooting applications. So it's going to be, it's going to be a lot of the same stuff you did down in the lower ranks.
Or you can go to Treadstone.
But it's just going to be more high speed. Or you can go to the Army of Northern Virginia, Treadstone. The people that are actually doing things.
Shaping the politics of the world.
Shaping the battlefield before anybody even gets there. And I'm pretty sure he's a graduate of the Army of Northern Virginia.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I believe that's his last gig from him. Now, he didn't specifically say that, but when he was talking about what he was doing the last time he was in Afghanistan,
gotcha.
It put him in that
with that crew.
Yeah, it put him in that crew. So maybe I'm wrong, but I think that shit's way cooler, especially when he's talking about trying to fend somebody off with a shoe.
With a shoe. Oh yeah. I actually heard. I didn't catch that out of that. Yeah. Yeah, he fucking gun faith. They almost went to guns with that shit. John, in my short time as a landscaper, you wouldn't believe how many fucked up people I saw out there planting trees. I've seen quite a variance in workers giving a fuck about planting for high-end clients. Worst shit I ever saw was a row of hemlocks that were planted with the metal and nylon collars used to secure the burlap around the root ball left on. I was the new guy, and sure enough, with a trowel in hand, I had to crawl under 12 of these trees, dig down, and cut the band suffocating the trees. 8 years of trees wasted because stupid idiots didn't know how or couldn't care about doing the job correctly.
That sounds like a couldn't care right there.
I got some kind of chigger. Yeah, some kind of chigger. So I don't go out in the woods here. We've just planted 100 over the last 2 weeks, 100 pine starts. And I never go out in shorts. I always put on pants. And then when I come in, I immediately take the pants off, take a shower, and scrub down. I still have fucking chiggers on me. Right fucking now, I have fucking chigger bites.
That's because you're so sweet.
I got some kind of chigger and was out of work for 2 days over that and had a hospital bill. So, well, you'll see. We got some videos coming on the tree planting stuff. I've got some questions. I did a bunch of stuff. I don't know if it's right or wrong. I guess we'll know soon. Speaking of books, really enjoyed 299 Days series. I remember getting their business card in an SOE order many years ago. That's Glenn Tate, Heavy D, Glenn Tate. Good dude. He's got a podcast now. Check him out. You can find him on social media. He's asked us to come on several times. I've never been on anybody else's podcast.
Been on James's.
Well, we went there. Yeah, you're right. Okay, you're right.
We're famous. We've been on this podcast.
That's his 2 best podcasts ever.
Yeah.
You know, James stopped podcasting when we stopped going on.
That's because the ratings fell.
Yeah. He never could top that. I think it just destroyed him. It destroyed his radio voice.
I think so.
If you want it, order it and wait. In response to my hauling and hooker comment, a 34.5 is half of 69. She just does her part. I'm fairly certain I learned that term from you, John. Good day, sir.
34.5.
Oh, shit.
I like it.
John, I spend the day binge listening to old episodes where you talked about Makita drills, and lo and behold, last night on TV I saw a commercial for all kinds of Makita cordless drills. My hand hurts. I have blisters from holding that fucking drill and it twisting. And you might not know, but a cordless drill, I got a 24-inch auger. We've been drilling these holes in the ground, right? You might not know, but when you run a drill continuously, which you don't really, right? You don't run a drill continuously. Those motherfuckers get hot. Hot. Like you need 2 fucking drills out there. We went through 3 fucking batteries today. My cable, all kinds of Makita tools, my cable and phone are linked, so I'm sure Skynet, also known as Google, sent me a targeted ad. I even asked my brother, who lives like a mile away, to check his satellite DVR and see if he had the same ad in the same spot, and he did not. I used DeWalt stuff, but laughed my ass off when I saw all the shit they're pushing now. Love the podcast. Keep it. Yeah, DeWalt has some crazy shit. So somebody sent me. I mentioned I wanted an industrial Roomba. Makita makes one, right? I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. I'm gonna get one of these. So I'm on Amazon looking at them. How much do you think a industrial DeWalt robot vacuum costs?
$300.
That's what I thought. I'm like, I might be in at $500, right? $1,200.
Really?
$1,200.
Man, it must
I have to see it, man. That motherfucker better be fucking a meter across. It better be 3 feet.
Maybe it is because it's
like
industrial.
it better be able to, like, when it comes up to your foot, it like sucks you in.
Yeah, you don't want that because those robots eat meat.
John, you were talking about wrapping walls in the gym with Multicam Black. We did that. It's up there. Have you ever thought about getting some Multicam Black seat covers for your new truck? Saw a guy on one of the SOE pages that had some. That's our boy. We know him. That's Stevenson. Almost like a factory cover made from 500 Cordura. So I pay a lot of extra money to have nice interior in my vehicles. The last thing I want to do is sit on fucking Cordura. If I had a dog, or it'd be nice to have them, like, if you're using that truck, but like I have trucks that were going to get dirty and muddy, I'd put them in there. But like my nice trucks, if I won't get muddy boots in my truck, I don't need fucking Cordura seat covers. I would do like some Cordura overlay panels or something over some foam, and then put some red stitching or something for like door inserts. But most of my cars are like carbon fiber inside and leather and shit. So, like the idea, and we put the Cordura up because it was a really fast, easy fix to that terrible ass steel out there. I want to put steel up, but it was like literally 1/10 the cost to do the plywood, and we bought the expensive plywood too, and it was 1/10 the cost to do the plywood than to put new metal up. Like we had quotes on having that all painted and shit. They had to come in, acid etch it, fucking do all kinds of shit. It was going to be over 10 grand just to paint the wall, just to paint that metal. It was cheaper to put new metal up than to paint the metal. Plus the time of doing it and the mess and shit that was involved with it and the time. It was cheaper to put new metal up on the walls. Instead, we just put the plywood with the multicam, and I think that looks 1,000 times better than what we were about to do. Some shitty of a person. How shitty of a person do you have to be to ask someone about how many people they killed? I'm a fireman and can't fucking stand it when people ask me about all the shit I see at work. Mac, man, does it bother you when people ask that? I guess it kind of depends who it is.
It's weird. It's weird when you say. Here's the thing. It's for me, anyways. It would be weird to say it bothers me. Does it bother me? It doesn't. I'm not like bothered by it. I just think it's a totally weird question. It's like it doesn't bother me that you asked that question, but it's a totally weird question.
I don't think the question is really how many people do you kill. It's more like people want to hear those stories. Like, people want to hear the moto stories. Like, if you're at sniper school, they want to hear about you smoking fools. So why wouldn't a kid want to hear about that? I mean, we watch movies for that shit, right? I mean, it's... I don't know. I mean, it's kind of...
I just think... I mean, it doesn't bother me. It's just a weird question.
It's just... it's that trade. It just happens to be fucking taking human lives. But if you think about it, you talk to big game hunters, what are they talking about? The fucking lions they killed, the elephants they shot. You talk to a motocross rider, how many races did you win? How many crashed? They want it. They just they want to hear it. When I meet a cop, I'm like, tell me your craziest story, because I want to fucking hear it. And when I hear you're a canine handler, I'm like, show me the craziest photo on your phone. And they're always like, you sure you want to see it? I go, yeah, I know the dog eats the meat. I know. Tell me some crazy shit. How many fucking hookers have you had in one vehicle at one time? Like, we see some crazy shit with the combat cocks. It's kind of fizzled out a little. We used to get fucking cross-dressers, prostitutes, drug seizures, fucking dead bodies. I mean, you name it, the craziest shit with a combat cock stuck on them. They'd roused up some fucking...
great calendar.
They'd roused up... Yeah, it would have been an awesome calendar.
It would have been a great
and
calendar.
It's usually followed up with, hey, you can't show this to anybody.
Yeah.
We've got combat cock photos literally like in the fucking Oval Office. Like crazy shit. But we can't utilize any of the fucking pictures. Ever.
I don't know. Like, even, like, for example, let's say you happen to be in the Secret Service. And you took and the president's out golfing somewhere, and you took a combat cock into the White House, and you set it on the desk, and then you took a picture of it.
You could just as easily say it's photoshopped.
But my thing there, too, is like...
I think it's actually illegal to use...
What's the statute of limitation?
I think it's illegal to use the presidential seal in any advertising. I was given... So the president, it would have been...
In any advertising.
It would have been Bush, I think.
I don't know.
The Bush...
I know it's true for astronauts.
I think it was Bush. Bush was presented a Surefire flashlight. Came in a leather case, and you unzipped it, and it had an extra bulb. Had the presidential seal on it. I want to say it was like an E2E or something, maybe. And it had a presidential seal on there, little leather case, batteries, all this shit. I was given 2 of those, and they're like, you cannot ever fucking do anything with this. Here's this thing. It doesn't exist. But because it has the presidential seal on there.
That's weird, because they... I would say, the only reason why I think that's weird is every time he signs a bill, every time the President of the United States, not just this one, every president, every time he signs a bill, he uses a new pen because he gives that pen away.
Right, but that's his. He gives it away. We can't use it in any kind of advertising.
I don't know, it's probably true, because I just heard that about the astronauts. An astronaut, some art guy, whatever, some dude that did sculptures, did this sculpture of an astronaut. A little teeny sculpture of an astronaut.
Like in a spacesuit? Or
in a spacesuit.
No likeness to an individual.
No likeness to an individual. But he wanted it, he wanted to get it onto the moon. And so the art gallery was like, man, that's a great idea. If we get it on the moon, and we get pictures of it, your art is going to be off. Everybody's going to want your shit because your shit's on the moon. Well, they had to do some backdoor shit to get it to... I can't remember which... I want to say it might have been John Glenn. I can't remember what astronaut it was. But they ended up getting this to an astronaut. They're like, hey, we'd really like it if you'd leave this fucking sculpture of an astronaut on the moon. And, he's like, whatever. Okay. Well, in order to make it... Because astronauts, there is a certain amount... within their payload, within the weight of what they can carry, they have... I can't remember what it is. It's not a lot. I think it's under a pound of personal effects that they can take up to the moon with them, or up on any space mission. They have a small amount of personal effects. And so the astronaut they gave it to, he made a plaque that had the names of all the astronauts who have been killed up until that point, to include, like, there's 3 cosmonauts on the list and whatever. And so he gets up to the moon, and he busts that out, and he lays it on the ground, and then he puts the plaque next to it, and there's a picture of that. Well, get back to Earth. First off, the guy who made the fucking little astronaut's like, well, why do you lay it on the ground? That's kind of fucked up. I wanted it standing on the... And he's like, dude, he's on the moon. He's got big-ass gloves. You're lucky you even got it there, right? And then he did not... The guy was like, I didn't really want it to represent dead astronauts. And so he's kind of bitching about it.
Yeah,
well,
I can kind of see that.
And then NASA came back and said, well, you can't use NASA for any advertisements anyways. So
I could see that. I could see that as a corporation or entity or
they're
whatever.
like, you can't use any of this as an advertisement anyway. So they thought he was going to be big, and he actually ended up not doing like the gallery closed and everything. But they're talking about how you cannot do that. And Corvette,
it'd be just like us trying to use General Dynamics or something in our advertising.
But Chevy wanted to get a Corvette, wanted every astronaut to drive a Corvette.
Okay, I can see it.
And so so here's Chevy like, hey, you guys can have these Corvettes. And NASA was like, no, you can't give them Corvettes. That's not part of this program, because they represent NASA. And so Chevy was like, okay, we're not going to give them Corvettes. We're going to lease them cars for $1. All the astronauts got brand new Corvettes that year, except for one fucking man. I want to say it was Scott Glenn, but I might be wrong. Except for one astronaut was like, yeah, that's wrong. I'm not gonna get a Corvette. And he's like driving around in his fucking '79 Datsun B210 while everybody else is driving around in Corvettes. But interesting. It's crazy how shit works.
Truck driver story. I was stuck in a little truck stop south of Denver while trying to head to New Mexico. The snow was so bad that the roads would not open back until the morning. So the truckers that were there at the little truck stop opened up one of the trailers, and we all started drinking and hanging out inside of it. Well, there was this blonde woman there, and she looked wild. Next thing I know, she asked if we wanted to see her gator.
Oh, shit.
Sure, we said. I thought it was going to be a picture on her phone. Then she pulled her pants and her panties down, and bam, there it was, a gator pussy. She had a gator tattooed above her pussy. She was like, watch out, boys, this gator bites. One of the guys went back to her truck that night and never saw him leave. Think the gator pussy ate him alive. Side note, the next week I went back to Colorado and ended up in Mosca, where they had an alligator farm, and all I could think about was gator pussy at the truck stop. 16 gator or 18 pussy. Inch Sig Patrol 7.62 rifle.
Depends on what you're doing with it. Mine's a 16. It fucking shoots awesome. You know, just depends on what you're doing with it.
Yo, John Skully, what is some advice if you get bitten by a poisonous snake when you're in the country? What are some antidotes or methods that are possible to have on hand when you are hours away from medical help?
Well, there's no...
Chromag is what they use, I believe, still, which covers most North American venomous snakes. Probably does not cover coral snake, a lepid, which is cobra. I don't know that they're going to give you any of that shit. I don't know if you can buy it. Remain calm. Don't cut. I don't think they
don't suck on it.
I don't think they tourniquet even anymore. I was bit by a rattlesnake October 1st, 1986, left thumb. Full envenomation. Snake was probably 14 to 16 inches long. Young snake. It's in the hospital. I was to the hospital within 45 minutes of being bitten. I was in the hospital overnight, 6 bottles of anti-venom. Fucked up, a lot of swelling. They'd actually talked about doing a fasciotomy at one point, which is when they cut to relieve pressure, so that the skin doesn't split on its own. A lot of bruising. I was out of school for probably 6 weeks after that. Heavy, like, steroidal, what's the fucking steroid they give everybody?
Sure.
Not prednisone. What's the injections they give you?
Atropine?
No, like for knee injuries and shit. Give it to football players. We'll get you back in the game, but you'll be fucked up afterwards. Anyways, I was out of school. That was probably 8th grade. I was out of school for 6 weeks. That was more me milking it. You have an allergy to the horse serum, so you have a lot of hives and reaction. So then they give you Benadryl to combat it, which knocks you out, puts you to sleep. I really don't know, man. Don't fuck with snakes.
Yeah, 85%.
More than that, probably.
85%. That's what I heard is 85%. 85% of all snake bites are right here.
Grabbing stuff, reaching under it.
In the hand and arm, and guess who 90% of the people bitten by snakes are?
White guys.
Boys, men. It's us, and it's because we're fucking with snakes.
Yeah.
Snakes don't want nothing to do with you, so it's usually because you're fucking with it. Stay away from snakes.
Be careful. I mean, it can definitely happen by accident, but most of it's carelessness. Most of it could have been prevented.
And there's also California right now. In California, whether you're aware of this or not, rattlesnakes. There's actually a mutation that's going on in the state of California.
No rattle.
Where there's no rattle. They have rattlesnakes out there that they're flipping the tail, but because of a mutation, there is no rattle, so you're not actually hearing that.
There's a lot of studies on those snakes going on. That study has been going on since I was in California. They're thinking it's a genetic mutation for self-preservation. Is what a lot of the studies on that are. Man, I don't know. Google's probably going to give you better up-to-date information than
get to a hospital.
Yeah, that's your biggest thing. Get to a hospital. Don't go places where you don't have comms. If you're going someplace, make sure somebody knows. If you don't show up or check in every 12 hours. Even nowadays, where you don't have cell service, they have spot GPSs and shit where you can send a text through satellite. You can buy them at most outdoor sporting goods stores even now. Like there is a method to communicate almost anywhere
in the world.
Yeah, even underground nowadays. Was listening to this, and I'm 100% with you on paying off the debts, like the tractor that was mentioned around the 1 hour mark. Get the lowest rate you can and pay more than the minimum payment every month. I've been doing that with my house since I moved in. An extra $50 to $100 per month doesn't seem like much, but I've been able to pay about a quarter of my mortgage in only 7 years. Yeah, 100% for sure, man. Between that and the increased value of the house over the years, I can sell it and have a sizable down payment for the next one I buy if I end up moving to Tennessee later this year, which is looking more and more likely. Right on, man.
The other thing that happens when you overpay on your thing, so like
your interest,
like
man.
My especially my vehicles, I always overpay. I always overpay a little bit, whatever it is, $100 or something like that. But what happens is, at least with my bank, that accumulates, right? So basically, they're counting it, but it's accumulating towards the next month's payment. So they're like, oh, you did an extra $100, it's going to the next month payment. And then I pay that whole payment, and then whatever's left over on that, it's going to the next whole payment. So like every year at the end of the year, they'll be it'll be fucking, like 3 months to the end of the year, and I'll go to make a payment, and I'll be looking at my fucking thing, and it goes, you don't have to make another payment till February of 2020.
That's because they don't want you to.
Yeah, because they don't want you to.
They want that interest.
If you keep doing that, then boom, 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 you're losing those interest payments. They're losing that money.
Thank you for all your motivation. I am finally hitting the gym, 6'1", 355 pounds, looking to get to 300 before summer is over. I got off my ass and I'm working on a career change. I work for Jewel. I thought he said Jello. I don't know why it said that. I work for Jewel Osco in Chicago as loss prevention. I'm waiting for my EMT license in Illinois. What do you mean you're waiting? Like it's coming in the mail, or you're waiting to take the classes, or you're waiting to finish it?
Hopefully it's coming in the mail.
I'm listening to The Richest Man in Babylon and paying myself 20%. Wow, that's good for you, man. I'm taking Pistol 1 and John Lovell in Camden, May 30th. Warrior Poet Society. That's who John is. Improving mind, body, and motherfucking spirit. No more excuses. So that 20% thing, don't get it twisted. That's not you have 20% to fucking go spend. That's accumulation. You sock that away so when opportunity presents itself, you can do that. That is not play money, right? We're in agreement with that. Oh, my giddy aunt. Oh, my giddy aunt. Mr. Skully, I fear you have made a huge ghillie suit shaped rod for your own back. Ship me an SOE ghillie suit. They'd sell. What the fuck?
I don't know, but yeah.
Great podcast. I have a great military story. Our doc was giving a class on 2-PAM chloride auto injectors. For some reason, he was holding it upside down and rubbing his thumb on the plunger. Just as I was going to tell him to stop touching the rubber covering, it fired, pushing that needle straight into his thumb. I couldn't help myself. I fell on the deck laughing my ass off. Maybe 10 minutes later, I realized he had actually injected himself with 2-PAM chloride. So tracked him down in sick bay to check on him. He was okay. Sorry, Doc. It was too funny.
I had a gunny giving that same class for the first Gulf War. Everybody was afraid we were going to get some sort of fucking chemical weapon. That's why we have Gulf War syndrome, because they made us take all these fucking crazy ass pills and injections for all kinds of shit that doesn't even exist anymore. But he was giving a class, and he had that fucking auto injector in his hand, and so he's giving the class, and he does the thing where it's like, okay, you're going to get it, you're going to do this, and shit like that, and he's waving this thing around the class, and he was almost done with the class, and he's just doing his thing, and he just went, BAM! And fired that fucking thing in his leg.
Did you see his eyes?
Oh, man, his eyes lit up. It's almost like when that ATF agent or DEA agent shot that gun in the classroom. His eyes lit up, and he tried to, like, play it off, but everybody knew, because, like, when he let go, everybody knew that he had just fucking injected himself, so they had to take him to the hospital. Fucking funny as shit.
What's the treatment for that? Just let it wear off?
You know what? I don't know what it is. I'm guessing it's
because it's atropine in 2-PAM chloride. So is the 2-PAM chloride an anti-nerve agent, or is it an accelerant to make you sweat out?
I don't know how it works.
When you shoot a cat with it,
it
runs around really, really fast for about 30 seconds and shits everywhere. Like, it sprays shit everywhere. And then it dies.
Yeah, well, because it would have been way too high of a dose for a cat.
I didn't do that.
It would have been way too high of a... But...
You know somebody that did that.
It would have been way too high of a dose for a cat, so... I'm guessing they would just pump fluids.
When you have a bunch of rangers sitting around.
Because you're not really supposed to... I mean,
So volumize?
You're supposed to suit up, for us, it's like you suit up and get back in the fight. So I'm assuming...
You're still functional?
You're still functional. I don't know. We never
maybe
had to worry about it.
They have to give you the live nerve agent.
Yeah, maybe they have to fucking give you the nerve agent counter. But I think they just monitor you and make sure you don't fucking frap out.
I just lost my shit for no joke 5 minutes. YouTube just played a Makita ad in the middle of this podcast. I guess they watched this podcast too, but it was for a lawn trimmer. Weird.
Makita's got a lawn trimmer.
Of course they do, because DeWalt did. Skully, we're going to find out that Makita and DeWalt's made in the same plant.
I bet it is. I bet that just at night, just the crews walk by each other.
Skully, you killed it with the gun answers. Funny as hell. Also, points you bring up. I pass on to my left-handed friends. All of you, which one of you's answers are, would be 100% thought for all those with more than one option. What the fuck did he just say?
I don't know, but I'm trying to give you the best answer I have. Obviously, all this stuff is off the cuff. If you want a more specific answer, send John an email and he'll respond to it. And
what the fuck? What is
if you
this
want a
even
specific
about?
answer about any gun questions, it's just this is really off the cuff, and I'm not putting a lot of thought in any of those gun answers except for 1911s are better than Glocks.
Yes, just got to that bit, and I'm grinning like an idiot. I'm gonna be like, which one? Laughing. I have no idea what we're fucking. Oh, for some reason it's play. Okay, give me a few moments, bloke. I'm selecting your instruments of demise. Laugh out loud. Brown pair bag, if at all possible.
Brown pair bag, if all possible.
Great podcast. Not everyone knows 503 is how many gallons of fuel the M1 Abrams tank holds. Laugh out loud.
300.
305.
It's not. I don't think it does.
Backwards.
I don't think it does hold 500 gallons.
Somebody also said it's the thread count on sheets. Nice podcast, guys. Skully, what was your main sniper rifle when you were in the service?
M40A1 sniper rifle.
Bullshit, it was in 1903.
An M40A1 sniper rifle was the main one, and then we went to the
Lee Enfield.
We went to the A3s, and then there's kind of like a modified. It's a modified A3. They made some really cosmetic changes, then they went all the way to the A6.
Here's another guy asking the exact same question. Nice podcast, guys. Skully, what was your main sniper rifle?
The M40A1.
John, check out EDR Run 2019 or El Diablo Run.
El
Next
Diablo,
one is
that sounds
February
fun.
2021 in Temecula, California on
Nope.
Thursday. Ride to San Felipe. Saturday, ride to Ensenada. Sunday, ride to Temecula. Chase trucks and trailers are with the main run. Thanks, SOE and crew.
Ride to Temecula.
You say ride. Are we talking? Is this a fucking 10-speed race?
I'm guessing.
Brahms.
It can't. Well, maybe. How do you get to Temecula
Or is
from
it
Mexico?
like a cannonball run? Maybe I meant Tecate.
How do you? Because
Bobby said he's going to be here tomorrow.
who's Bobby?
That's what I said. I said, who the fuck is this? Who the fuck's Bobby? Bobby! I said, what's up? And he said, I don't remember what he said. I go, you're bringing snowmobiles, right? I'll make some mud tonight and we'll run your snowmobiles. And he goes, I'll bring he has a little Kawasaki, like a Grom.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, all right, we'll get the bikes out. So,
Who's Bobby?
Machine Gun Bobby. Major AK.
Oh, Bobby.
Tactical Edge.
Tactical Edge Bobby. Oh,
Who the
man.
fuck's Bobby?
Like, who the fuck is Bobby? Better bring that AK-74 down, motherfucker.
Dead Sparrow Tattoo Redmond. Skully, I set my AR stock where I want it and wrapped the buffer tube with paracord. It helps with your hair getting stuck in the buttstock.
Yeah, that'd probably work. I could, the other thing that would work too is
Buttstock your hair
just-
gets caught in.
in the collapsible stock, because when you're on here like this, it will move, and then when you go to put the fucking thing down, all your hair is stuck in the fucking stock.
On what gun?
On my AR.
Well, stop buying shitty buttstock.
No, man. You could do medical tape, just a wrap of fucking medical tape on it too. That would work.
Heat shrink it.
But I don't have time for that. I got too many ARs.
More jam up advice. What up, Dr. John and Professor Skully? Holy Grail knife question. I will also buy more knives when I look at them. I would love to get a Strider knife one day. They look badass. They are. The reason old wood is superior to the stuff we use now is because back in the day, they were cutting down trees that had been growing for 50 plus years. Now, we force trees to grow at an unnatural rate, which makes the wood less dense. If you look at the growth rings from old trees, they will be tight together. New processed lumber rings will be wide apart from each other. What is the most labor-intensive product you currently make? Thanks, guys. What's the most labor-intensive product? I know I'm going to be like... I'm going to say backpacks are pretty labor-intensive.
That's what I was going to say is backpacks.
But I know, like, when we turn this off, we're going to be like, why the fuck did we say this? This other thing takes 3 times as long.
Backpacks are, I'd say, initially backpacks, because they've kind of gotten a groove where they're a lot faster with the backpacks. Backpacks are labor intensive on the table, because there is a lot of fucking threads to burn on them, especially on the shoulder pads. You just can't get around that. Every shoulder pad.
Yeah, our H sets are pretty labor intensive.
H sets pretty labor intensive, but probably the backpack because it spends
I know
a lot
as
of time
soon as
on
we
the table.
turn this off, we're gonna walk out there and whatever the worst thing is, it's gonna be out there.
What about the fucking bag we just built? That seemed to take the multicam black one, and then we did multicam black and red. It's not the BBD bag. It's like a BBD bag, but it's twice as big.
Are you just not wanting to say the name, or do you not know it?
I'm not.
I'm not sure what the fuck you're talking about.
You know, it's got the Y. It's got the Y at the top. It's twice.
Chub bag.
Chub bag. That's it.
Chub
Yeah.
bag.
Chub bag. It took them kind of a while to
that
get the
takes a
chub
minute.
bags, man.
Which is weird because they built a fucking ton of them. It's like they forgot how to build them.
Yeah.
Brian Lucas, you say we force trees to grow. How do we do that? I thought it's just we're using shittier trees. Like it's more like not shittier, but they're not hardwood. They're like Douglas fir and shit, right?
And we're just
It's all
cutting.
pine.
We're cutting everything younger because we cut all the old stuff.
Yeah. Dave Duvall says, lot lizard story, not mine. Told to me by an Italian chef who used to drive trucks in Italy before immigrating to the U.S. to become a chef. Him and 2 to 3 other guys in the same trucking company pulled over for some action. He went first. As she was getting up in the cab of his truck, her skirt hiked up and she wasn't wearing any panties. He reached out and slid 2 fingers in her pussy. He said he must have been the first guy for the day because he felt his fingers break a crusty seal. And he instantly smelled her dirty ass vagina. He immediately said he changed his mind. The other 2 guys fucked her anyways, and all of them got gonorrhea. They later asked him why he didn't fuck her. He asked them how they could have fucked her even with her pussy smelling like rotten fish. They all got pissed at him for not getting gonorrhea. He replied, next time, smell it first. To which Liberty Chick replies, apparently they could smell it and still dived right in, but cracked the crusty seal, though.
That's why you had to crack. That's why, because you cracked that crusty seal. You knew better.
John, I told you a few podcasts ago about watching your tree video. You asked how much property I had and how many trees. I was going to plant, how many trees I was going to plant. Property is 6.5 acres on a lake with 500 feet of waterfront. The property, what kind of elevation you got? When that water rises, where are you orientating the house there or whatever your structures? The property has some issues, wetlands and a few other things the previous property owner did that the county doesn't like, that I'm working through. Yeah, that's the other thing with wetlands, man, depending where you're at. You might not be able to do shit with that fucking frontage. I'm working through to be able to build a boathouse. I'm thinking a couple 100 trees, half acre, that would be mostly fruit, and I'll set a tree stand up and hunt over that. I'm a city boy, joined the Navy, did my 20 and retired again in 4 years. Retiring again in 4 years. Never lived in the country, so hope we like it. Question, tractor. I think John Deere with a belly mower and a bucket and a backhoe. Will that work for this size property? Of course it will. We're 10 acres. We have a 35 horsepower. Our tractor's it's a big enough model that there's not a belly mower. When you do a belly mower, you have a glorified lawnmower. It'll move some mulch around and shit, but you're not really going to dig with it. We have a lot of wet wood pulp that we move around. The skid steer does it literally 100 times, 10 times faster at least. It just doesn't have the power.
The big thing with the John Deere versus the skid steer is the skid steer is faster. So meaning
it'll hold more weight, runs more implements.
It's faster and has a bigger bucket.
Pick up logs with it
versus the John Deere. And the only reason why it's faster is because I'm using state of the art wired whatever they call it controls. Where with the John Deere it's still old and shift. So like every time you got to go under, you're shifting and doing all this other shit to get it to move. I don't mind the John Deere. I don't mind it, but the reality is. I'll do.
And it tears your shit up, and you
Yeah.
can't use it when there's any mud or raining.
I'll do 10. I'll do 10 loads in the John Deere to let's say I'll do 4 loads in the John Deere to 1 of the skid steer. So meaning I'm only doing one. If I want 1 full skid steer load, I got to do 4 loads in the John Deere.
And it takes it's 15 minutes of work compared to an hour of work.
Yeah.
Man, I would tell you save up and buy a little more tractor than you think you need. I'm not saying go buy a skid steer by any means. Skid steers are expensive, especially compared to these. I would also tell you spend a little more money, a couple $1,000s more, and get an enclosed cab.
Yes.
In the weather, you're really going to need this thing in the weather. It's going to either be really hot or really cold, and you're going to be glad that you have the ability to heat or cool. Not even so much cool as heat. Big deal. I got to go to the bathroom. You might want to pause that.
Yeah, go to the bathroom. We'll just sit. I'll just sit and stare uncomfortably at the camera. 50 horsepower, as close to 50 horsepower as you can get, is probably best. And even we initially got a skid steer. Our initial skid steer here did not have an enclosed, an environmentally controlled cabin. And we worked through the whole summer using that thing, and John kept that rental skid steer here so long and paid so much money to rent that skid steer that the company that we got it from the next year bought a brand new, totally enclosed, environmentally controlled fucking cabin skid steer. So the next year we got the good skid steer, and it was so much nicer to use the skid steer and not the shovels, but it was 10,000 times better to have that skid steer with the air conditioning and being able to close and keep the bugs from flying in your eye and the sawdust and shit from falling out of the bucket into the cab and shit. So enclosed is probably the way to go. It's just, it adds more money. I mean, that's the issue. It's just going to add more money to the overall cost of your tractor. And if you don't plan on using it full time, maybe you can get away with an open. Just depends on what you're going to do with it. I mean, I'm not an advocate for spending a bunch of money, but Kubota got 0% financing right now, so that's like getting free money. It's exactly like getting free money, and free money's always nice. So you can get it's 0% financing with 0 down. So you could literally go get a fucking tractor and not give them a dime for a whole month. And not pay any financing. So that is free money. That's probably the best deal you're going to get out there right now. Well, it just depends on what you want to do. I don't know if John Deere has any comparable deals. My guess is they do. That would be my guess, but maybe not. You never know with the tractor companies. Anyways, crusty seal. What else are we talking about? Guns? I love guns. M1 Abrams. Up armors. Helicopters. I love helicopters for some reason. Let's see what's going on here. Mostly helicopters.
Helicopters.
Yeah.
I don't know what chef tried to poison me with, but had to get that out of the way. Never lived in the country. Hope you like it, Billy Mower Bucket. Won't waste any more of your time. I'm a gray beard with you, like you, Jeff. Still appreciate all the information that you're putting out there. Old dogs can still learn new tricks. Dude, you have time to actually do real shit now, man. You worked all that time. Have some fun. Make sure everything you put on the property that you actually really enjoy it, or it produces something. You can grow a lot of plants with in mind that you're going to chop and drop them, cut them down. Everything produces something. It doesn't have to necessarily be food. It can be stuff that compostable material, shade, whatever it is that you need. And don't ever worry about wasting our time in asking us information that's going to better you in somehow, or more importantly, we learned a lot doing this and made a lot of mistakes too. We can tell you to keep you from prevent you from making the same mistakes. By the track, like the big thing with the tractor, we were using wheelbarrows and shovels to start with. Then the Craftsman riding mowers, we fucking did shit with those that you'd have never thought we could do. But I needed a bush hog. I had stuff growing that we couldn't cut. So the tractor came with a brush hog. That was great. Had a bucket. Has a box blade so we can kind of level driveways. And I mean, we dumped 16 loads, giant dump truck loads of pond soil, catfish pond. I bought a couple loads of that. And he goes, yeah, we got all that he had. I go, how many is there? And he's like, 13 truckloads. I go, I'll buy all of it. So we, over time, they dumped these big, huge piles, and we just started, I'd kind of cut them on the corner with the box blade and drag it over. And I mean, we leveled that whole upper paddock up there, that whole field. We built that fucking thing. Planted it super heavy in clover and grass, and put wheat in because wheat would grow really fast and throw roots down just to kind of hold the soil in place. There's a video we made today of Cody and I. We planted another 50 pine trees, and we're using this big auger on a DeWalt drill, and we're drilling in. And you can see that as we're cutting down, and it's pretty hard, like it's fucking hard, dry soil. As we're cutting down, you can see the color change, and it's that catfish pond soil. Like we put, where those trees are, that was a bank going down. Like we built all that. We put all that soil in place and mulched it over and over and over, and we had wheat growing all through there to put roots down. And then we put clover in there, and then we had grass growing all through there, and then when we started planting the trees in, we mulched it heavy to kill all that down. But all that root matter and all that material is still down in there. When we, like just today, man, when I'm drilling in that hard ass soil, so in some spots I'm still hitting rock and chert and stuff. So I would just come out, move over 3-4 inches and drill the hole. When I pull that bit out of the ground, it's steaming. It's still as dry and hard as it is, with where all that wood chip and all that mulch is, man, it's holding soil. Like you put your hand down in there and it's just fucking humid down there. Like those trees are going to do fucking awesome from that. So don't ever worry about wasting our time. I just read a book called Empty Planet that predicts that the world population will begin to decline around 2060 and decline indefinitely. The book lays out the case for China being at 550 million people by 2060, while the U.S. is up to 450 million. The aging of China's population is supposed to be so expensive they can't challenge the U.S. as a dominant economy. Pretty good read, even though it was written by Canadians with a massive leftist streak. Thanks for the podcast. So you're saying that it's going to cost too much to keep all... The cost of keeping China's old people alive is going to eat their economy up? Is that what you're saying? I wouldn't put it past China to euthanize those people. I mean, for real.
Yeah, the Chinese do some crazy shit.
Chinese don't fuck around.
Chinese do some crazy shit. They're already... I mean, here's... The issue is...
Look up organ transplant tourism. Look that up.
The issue will be the reality of what you need to think about in that scenario is that's best case scenario. That's if the world... I mean, if you listen to the Democrats, the world's going to end in 10 years anyways. But, I mean, 2060, we'll be lucky if fucking AI hasn't already wiped us all out. Or the Hadron Collider, the speed in the Hadron Collider keeps getting faster and faster.
Is that the Atom Smasher?
Yeah, and you're getting to a point where scientists all around the world, in all these different countries, are making decisions that could turn the lights out on the entire world and you wouldn't even know what happened. We're just gone.
Like implode?
Yeah.
Gone? Well, that's what, I mean, when they tested the first nuclear bombs, the atom bombs, they didn't know. There was some speculation that it might come in the world.
They actually thought there was a hypothesis thrown out there, and they had 7 of the lead scientists at Los Alamos. They thought that there was a possibility that the hydrogen bomb, or the bombs that we dropped on Japan and Nagasaki, would actually light our atmosphere on fire and destroy the entire world. And guess what we did? We fucking detonated those bombs anyways. We make decisions all the time that can end the world. You just don't know about it.
affect humanity on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Tell me a story of one of your missions kitted up before you joined the Marines, Skully.
Me and Donald Hanson, we got our fucking full kit on. I mean, I had better shit. I had better shit than the Marine Corps had at the time. We had full kit M17 gas masks, and we went from my house all the way to Mission Dam, which is about 10 miles. Which is 10 miles with fucking full kit on to include the gas mask, because we thought that's what they really do in the military. They do shit like that in the military. So we did that. I never ever did that in the military. I never went 10 miles in full mob gear.
Was this a night movement?
Yeah, it was a night movement. We went through Admiral Baker Golf
Field,
Course.
Yeah.
We went through the golf course and everything, but we went all the way 10 miles. It was pretty fun. We
So
used to
had
do
you
that shit
gone
all
up
the time.
that hill right there, had you gone up, you'd have been in Murphy Canyon housing.
Yeah, we right over the hill. That Mission Dam. I was there every weekend.
Yeah,
we
used to go out there and catch
every
snakes
weekend.
and all kinds of shit out at Mission Dam. Right before I left, I was out there mountain biking quite a bit with my buddy Matt.
Yeah.
I just read a book called Empty Planet. We did that one. Tell Me a Story. We did that one. Liberty Chick. You mentioned that the 503 is on all your shirts. I see 503 on my husband and son shirt, but I don't see it on my Cock Force shirt I got. It's driving me crazy. Where is it? Here's the deal. Chicks have smaller brains. You can't see it, girl. They say you're smarter because you have more wrinkles, but in reality, it's just primal. That's why when we go, woman, you guys jump real fast. You're like a bear. It's loud movement and shifting around and stuff. It's because you have smaller brains. You just can't see the 503. Also, John, thanks for the huge compliment you gave me in podcast 87. I believe you were being a solid bitch. That means a lot, especially coming from someone like you. Hey, this bitch is loyal. Laughed my ass off. One more thing. Got to meet Jaeger and Mookie Saturday night after SHOT Show. Fucking awesome. All y'all in less than 2 weeks. But I actually got pictures with them. Haha. I'll see ya at Blade. Get him then. Rockin' podcast as always. Right on.
Blade's gonna be a good time. Your kids are gonna love Blade.
Yeah, they're gonna have fun. Plus, at Blade Show, that Blade Show is one of those things people like. I want to come hang out with you. I don't fucking hang out anywhere. I did more hanging out while you were here than the whole entire rest of the year so far. At Blade Show, we hang out. A lot of business is discussed. A lot of networking. Just standing in our booth, you'll have dudes that are literally came to the show in their own aircraft. You'll have people from all walks of life right there. You'll probably be wearing product that the dudes that own those companies are standing there in our booth bullshitting with us, and you just don't even realize who they are. Blade Show is fucking crazy. When Blade Show opens, you will see people run to their favorite booths, and you'll actually see people like pushed to the ground.
Yeah.
You'll see fucking people fighting to get first position, to get in line, to buy a lottery ticket, to enter a drawing,
To pay full price
to
for
possibly win the right to pay full price for some item that whatever the show thing is.
It's awesome.
It's crazy. When I leave my booth at Blade Show, it's just unfathomable. Like, it's just insane the amount of people that come in there, and they're there to see us. Like, we draw a crowd to Blade Show.
That bothers other people.
I'll bet there's 1,000 people that come to Blade Show that don't even come for anything else other than they specifically come to SOE. We have vendors around us complain on a huge scale that our patrons, our clients, our friends are blocking their booth, and they blame their poor success during the show on their customers can't see their booth. Well, I've offered to buy your booth. I even offered to pay 3 or 4 other vendors. I've offered to pay their Blade Show for 3 years in advance. Give them the money. They can spend it however they want to move and let us take their booth also. There's other booths available. We need to be in that area next to the other people who we're friendly with. And we've made this offer to several people, and if we're such a bother, I mean, they've complained about our Made in the Motherfucking USA logos too. We've put stickers over part of them. They've complained about the traffic, but we're a draw. Like we bring we bring people into Blade Show that would not be at Blade Show otherwise. When I leave the booth, the nearest bathroom's probably 3-minute walk away. When I come back to my own booth after going to the bathroom, it'll take me 10-15 minutes to get back into my booth. It's pretty wild. It's a good time. John and Skully just received my Easter sale order. Can't believe I got a handwritten note on my order slip. Super awesome. I have an SOE wallet and it's going on 6 years. It has the white label in it and I cannot believe how well it is held up. Question for the podcast. How do you guys go about designing a new piece of gear? As an electric engineer and hobby woodworker, I like to hear the different people design process. Great podcast and great gear. I don't know. You take that one.
It's easy, John. What we do is we go in the back and
throw darts.
We have underneath the cut table. There's a bunch of bins of scrap material, so the leftover, because we're still hand cutting this. We're not using fucking laser machines or anything.
Sometimes
like that.
We use chicken bones.
And what I normally do is I'll get like 8 pieces of material and I'll wad them up into a ball and I'll throw them up in the air. And by the time they hit the table, John will be like, pencil bag or notebook cover. He'll just by the things in the air, he'll be able to figure out the size and dimension of it, and it'll be, that's how he does it. Football cover. It's that quick. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome to see.
I like to take a spray paint can and set it out in the yard and shoot it with a BB gun and let it spin around, and it kind of paints its own picture. We just decipher it. There's a little bit of voodoo, a little bit of black magic, a little bit of luck.
Yeah, I think
that's a little bit of skill.
A little bit of skill. There's a lot of skill. I mean, it's funny where you'll do something, and it's usually, I mean, just how easy it is in the sense of John will be like somebody will say some shit on Facebook about, you don't make any tactical gear anymore. All you make is fucking
a hot dog pouch.
A hot dog pouch. And then John's like, hey, hot dog pouch, let's make a hot dog. And we make a pouch that looks like a hot. It's just fucking stupid.
We had a lady, she still works here, Linda, made this little pouch. And we were making a pouch to hold pencils in for my kids to take to school. And we were having hot dogs that day. And Linda's like, oh, that looks like the hot. And like a year, like months later, whatever it was, I'm like, hey, make some of these pouches. She goes, oh, you mean the hot dog pouch? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? She goes, it looks like a hot dog. So she made some. We put a hot dog in it. And I said, put a photo up. 3 years later, I shared the photo as a hot dog pouch. And some dude's like, you're a piece of shit. Fuck you. I would never buy from you. All you make is tactical trinkets. And did all this shit. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I shared his post talking shit. And I go, in honor of this dude, we will run a hot dog pouch sale. You will get 20% off your order and a free hot dog pouch. We did $80,000 on that sale. Yeah. $80,000 fucking dollars because some piece of shit was talking shit. We still make that fucking. We make those pouches occasionally. They have a fucking billion uses, man. It's great. You can put a screwdriver kit in there. You can put. I mean, it's basically a Cordura version of our mesh tool pods before we ever made those. Is what it is. And guys love them, man. Skully's Kubota. Do you think so? You think waiting for lights is a bitch? I bought a brand new 2013 Ram Sport. I saved for a year for a huge down payment and spent a month looking online for the exact options I wanted. After less than a month owning it, the radio shit the bed. No problem, right? Wrong. The entire computer system was functioned through the radio. Without it, the truck wouldn't start. I had to have it towed to the dealer. Guess what? The radios are VIN coded and it had to be made to order. So, no one at the dealer, not blaming them. They knew as much as I did nothing. Nor Ram, Fiat, Chrysler knew how long it would take or when it would ship or how long it would take for install. I would think that'd go under the lemon law or some shit. They gave me a shitty little Jeep Compass to use, but it took them close to 30 days to finally get it done. The dealer technically had the truck longer than I owned it before the radio crapped out. So, I was so frustrated at the lack of information, I asked the rep, who was assigned from Fiat Chrysler, how I could order a fucking pet rock off eBay from lives in my mom's basement 445 in less than 20 minutes, have tracking info, and have it in less than a week. But a billion-dollar company like Fiat Chrysler with 100,000 employees, car truck plants all over the world, has been in business for close to 100 years, answer the question of where is the radio? With, I don't think I ever sweared at anyone as much as that poor rep, and I have worked in commercial kitchens for 30 years. I called them back the next day and apologized. I'd be curious to hear what the outcome of that was.
That's just shitty. That's just shitty craziness. It's one of those things that if the radio's stolen, the vehicle doesn't work.
Yeah.
No, who the fuck steals radios anymore?
Yeah.
Who steals radios anymore? I mean,
his just went out. It wasn't stolen.
Yeah, I'm sure there are some dudes out there that are. Well, I had a. What vehicle was that in? I had a vehicle that if you stole the radio, like the way it was put in,
you have to put the things in
you
there.
have to put the things in there, but there was a special tool that you had to have.
Yeah.
That if you stole the radio, you could take the whole radio out, but if you took the whole radio out, the car wouldn't start. In the 80s, people used to steal radios, but nobody. Who the fuck steals car radios?
Why make a car not stop? Why put that theft in?
I have no idea.
It sounds like you should have fucking left Dodge, man. I'm sure there had to be some fucking. I guarantee you, I wouldn't have been driving around a fucking Compass. If you run into a guy at a gun show selling something too cheap, it's probably an undercover cop selling something that's full auto. I had one in North Carolina try to sell me a suppressed Mac 11 with ammo for $200. Yeah. What's your opinion on balancing time with your family versus working extra hours to get ahead when your kids are younger? Did you wait until your kids were a little bit older and busy with other things before you really picked up the hustle, or have you naturally always been like that? I'd say I've always been like that.
Yeah.
My kids were always there, though. I'd have my girl at the time. We would fuck in the garage. Like, if we were at the house, we might fuck inside. When we had kids, the kids were in the garage. There was a TV in the garage. When I was at the shop, if I had a girlfriend, she'd come fuck at the shop. She'd bring me dinner at the shop. The kids were at the shop. But it was work. And, like, even then, like, Cody's mom, she worked alongside with me. Amanda works alongside with me. Any relationship I had, unless it was just some pussy, if you wanted to see me, you had to do what I was doing. And that's just how it's always been. That's why Amanda and I are still together today, because she was willing to do whatever I was doing, live wherever I was living, and, like, if I was sleeping at the shop, she'd be fucking sleeping at the shop. So it's
I don't think she's sold on the Alaska thing, though.
If I went to fucking Alaska,
I don't think she's sold on it. I think
she might try to hold out, but when that truck's pulling away, she'd be like, "Wait, I'm coming."
You ought to do an Alaska feint, just like an Alaska.
No, we ought to just go for real.
Just an Alaska feint to test that loyalty. Just test
it. She'd live in a cave.
Feint. I'm sure she would. I'm sure she'd go.
Yeah. So I mean, you just got to make up your mind, man. You want to have a lot of shit? You got to make some sacrifices. Otherwise, other than that, man, you're just... I hate to say it, but most dudes, you're just with the wrong bitch. Like, Jeff, if Jeff was... Like, Jeff could fucking say the craziest shit, and I'd be like, there ain't no goddamn way Gina's going for that. But she'd be like packing before fucking I even knew about it. 100%. You guys, if you got to make compromises, and yeah, you're going to have to make some compromises. But that was designed into the relationship long before there was ever a relationship. Like, I was doing what I was doing, and that's what attracted the women I was with, I think, was just that attitude. And no matter how fucking bad it was or how crazy it was, I could come in and I'm like, man, money's fucked up, I'm stressed. And she's like, you got this. Like, you got this. I don't know what the answer is, but I know that you're gonna pull this off. Like, it's gonna happen. and that's it, I guess. But my kid's out there right fucking now. One of my kids is out there sweeping the floor. He doesn't just sweep the floor though.
No, he doesn't just sweep the floor.
So I don't know, man. I don't know what the answer is there. Our business is built in a manner that everything I like to do is included in the business. Everything I like to do is on the property. Yeah, we go to Nashville. Like we went to Paris on Saturday, stopped at a little coffee shop, did some running around. Came back in here. I had an hour of light left. Amanda's like, "What are you going to do?" I go, I need to get some of these trees in the ground. You want to go? She jumped on the back of the four-wheeler. We went out and planted some trees. Sunday, we got up really early, went to Nashville, got back here. We went out and planted some more trees. Like we just.
How many trees you got left?
They're in. All 100 are in the ground.
Cool.
So I'm ordering 1,000. 1,000 are on the way.
What do you get?
Everywhere.
But you planted in the upper paddock, right?
No, nothing's in the fence line.
I was gonna say, what are you gonna do about the goat? He'll fucking eat the shit out of those things.
Fucking slit that goat's throat.
He's gonna eat the shit out of those little things.
Yeah, no, everything's.
I don't know though. He might not. Does he even eat anything outside of?
Yeah, of course.
Outside of dog food.
If it's something you want.
Outside of dog food now, though, I mean, he's more dog than he is goat at this point.
I thought we would take the goat and put him back in the goat pen. And then make it so the chickens can also get in the goat pen, but the goat can't get into the chicken. So the chickens can range over into that extra fucking huge paddock because there's bugs and shit all through there.
Oh, yeah. Tons
and then
of
once he's secured up, then we can plant.
Yeah.
I could also, it wouldn't take much to fence off long ways in that paddock, but we land there for the razor. Like that's the razor jump. So I'm not super concerned. Like I bought the pine trees to put around the perimeter of the property for a visual break, a wind break, and a sound barrier. So I'm planting them like really close and ridiculously heavy, and we'll just have to maintain them. And then once they really get big, we'll have to fucking cut every couple down. And then once they get up to, I don't know what that power line's at, 20 feet or so, we'll just have to top them for a while.
We're all going to be dead by then, anyways. Democrats, 10 years.
24 inches a year.
10 years.
24 inches a year.
So
these trees. These trees live 180 years, grow 120 feet tall.
Not according to Democrats. We're all going to be dead in 10. So plan accordingly.
What was the first 5 things you and Skully would do if a president or vice president duo? Also, just ordering an active shoot bag. Thanks for the podcast. You'll love that bag, man. Great choice, Brandon. What would you do as president? First 5.
I don't know.
I'd get rid of sexual harassment laws.
I wouldn't do anything weird. I mean, I don't know.
I'd start fucking cutting government down.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I could tell you, I probably have a list of a bunch of things that I would be like, that's what I'm fucking doing. And then they would take me into the basement of the White House, and they would pull the book out.
The alien.
Yeah, and
E.T. would light his finger up and touch you on the nose.
You'd be opening the book, and you'd be reading it, and you'd be like, what do you mean I can't do that? That sounds easy. I should be able to... No, I can't do that either? Oh, that's fucked up. I can't... What? How is this even legal? Oh, shit. Yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those things, you don't know which no until you get in there. I don't know what I would do. I mean, I do know what I would do if I was the president of the United States. First thing I would do is I'd get on the phone.
Monica Lewinsky, come here.
Oh, man, yeah. Come on, Monica. I would give the Commandant of the Marine Corps a phone call, a little ringy-ding-ding. I'd be like, hey, check it out. You're gonna get the 1st and 2nd Marine Division and your fucking self, and you guys are going over to Afghanistan.
Commandant's going.
Yeah, Commandant. Everybody. You're all leaving. Everybody.
Because you ain't coming back till it's done.
Go to Afghanistan. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you do. You understand me? I don't care what you do. You got to go into Pakistan and handle some shit? Handle some shit. But nobody comes home till it's over. And then I'm going to call the army and I'm going to tell them the same thing. I'm going, hey, Iraq has got a problem with Syria, whatever. I don't give a shit what you do. No one comes home until it's done. After 3 months and all that shit gets wrapped up, then you guys can come home. That's probably the first thing I would do. I would probably get assassinated before that happened, because this is all about making lots and lots of money. It's not about fighting wars. But
would you kick out all the little Muslim villages in the United States?
I don't know if I would
Kick them out. Just make them conform.
I would definitely. I would definitely. I would definitely bust them. So
bust them.
Bust them. They would get bust. They would get bust all over the United States. I would just spread them all out. Disperse them. Hey, you want to come to our country? That's the first thing I would do. Is probably, you want to live here in this country? These are the things that you have to do to be an American.
Here's your closed down building.
If you want to do all the things that you used to do in your old country, here's a plane. There you go. We're not stopping. We're just going to fly over your country, and you can fucking find your way.
You can parachute out.
Yeah, parachute out. But yeah, I mean, I would probably bust all those places up. There shouldn't be any. There really shouldn't be any. There shouldn't be any cities that you go into that are Iraqi controlled or
Chinatown.
Somali controlled, or I don't mind Chinatown. Chinatown can stay. You get Chinese, you can have Chinatown, but there shouldn't be any of those places where you go in the United States where it's predominantly controlled by those people.
I agree.
Should be very well integrated.
What up, guys? John, you always tell customers not to spend money with you and rather make more money with it. I unfortunately lack self-control, inevitably spend money on pointless purchases. So, I have begun buying gift cards from people and companies I admire and aspire to be like. So, though I'm still spending the spare amount of extra money, I know that I'll at least have something of quality to show for it once it's saved up enough. Since I've started steadily watching SOE, I've lost weight, gained muscle, worked harder, said fuck more, and overall made an attempt to be a better man and example for my boys. Thank you, John and Skully. It's just right and wrong, man. You know what's right and you know what's wrong. Do more of the right, do less of the wrong. That's a fucking good example for your kids. Work on your fitness. With fitness comes health. Work on that. When you get that right, you'll find that you're starting to get your head right for sure, and everything else changes with it. It's motion, forward motion. We're all going to fall down. When you do, take 2 extra steps when you get up. You'll get a little faster. You'll get a little harder. Your mind will definitely be clearer, and when your mind is clearer, all that other shit comes faster as well. It's kind of like perpetual motion. Just do good shit, man, and don't do good shit just because you think somebody's watching you do good shit. When you do it, people don't have to see it. When you're doing good shit's going to happen to you and for you. And just, what?
People are watching you. Your kids, if you have kids.
100%. That's what I'm saying. Don't only do it. That's what I'm saying, though.
Kids,
you have to do it. You can't just do it because you think you're being watched. It has to be real. And the more you do it, the more you're going to do it. It will become real. Even if you don't believe in doing good or whatever the thing is, if you help some people, your kids are going to see that, man. They're going to mimic what you do. So, for sure, man. That's all good shit. Same here. I saw one of John's Facebook videos from sometime in 2017 that just clicked with me. Something to the tune of fucking move. No one's going to do it for you. Even if you don't know what to do, do something. You know, guys, that line right there, when you're not sure what to do, always do something, because most of the dudes around you aren't going to do anything, and at least you tried, and you've got a 50-50 chance it was the right thing to do. That came from Jack Spirko, guys. Like, I have to give him credit for that. That is an exact quote from Spirko. But it's true. I use it every day. Even if you don't know what to do, do something. That was 75 pounds ago. Small changes become habit. Those grow into even bigger changes. Just keep fucking moving. Hats off, guys. 1000%, man. I love sweets. I love pastries. I love bread.
I love cake.
I love cake. I ate a half a fucking sheet cake yesterday. Did you see it? I don't even feel like... I feel more vascular. I think I'm going to eat sheet cake more frequently.
No, don't do it.
But the thing is, like... You don't have to not ever eat that shit again. You just have to reduce it greatly. You can do it on the weekend. Once on the weekend. Not the whole time you're out, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You got to eat clean. But just like coffee, man. I drink coffee because I love fucking hazelnut fucking creamer. I drank coffee 3 times a day. I didn't have any creamer in it. I'm drinking coffee. I ate a Quest bar. I'm like, this is kind of like a cake. I'm going to eat some coffee. And I'm like, halfway through the cup of coffee I'm drinking, and I'm like, this tastes like shit. I don't even fucking like coffee. I like the bullshit you put in the coffee. I threw the coffee away 3 different times through the day. I ate pretty fucking clean today. For snack, we had hot dogs. Chef's like, you want a bun? I love a toasted bun with sauerkraut and mustard and ketchup and all the shit you're not supposed to mix together. I know somebody's going to say something. I didn't eat any buns. I just ate, I don't know, 20 hot dogs. I don't know how many it was.
Yeah.
And a lot of sauerkraut. Chef gets some legit, real sauerkraut. It's fermented. It's not some bullshit. Good for your gut, you know? So just do something. You're talking about how you lost 75 pounds. That's fucking great, man. You can do, most of that is diet. When you throw in the exercise, it's gonna spark other stuff. The diet's going to lead to more exercise, and if you're doing exercise first, it's going to lead to you wanting to diet better. And I don't mean a diet. I mean just the normal things that you put in your body. You need to look at those and be conscious of them. Any chance you would consider setting up a booth at the Nashville NRA annual meeting? Not a fucking chance at all. If you're in Nashville for the annual meeting, come into town a day early and come to the shop here. Come see us, man. It's way more impressive to see the fucking building, the property, the shop, the manufacturing while it's happening than to see some shit at the show.
Plus, is the NRA going to even be around next year?
Is that true?
I don't know. They've had a lot of turmoil at this last meeting. A lot of turmoil, a lot of craziness.
If you guys want to do... I didn't even know the annual meetings in Nashville. You want to do a meet and greet or get together or something? Maybe we'll rent a small venue or something, or maybe we can just all go out and, I don't know, get dinner or something. Just get with us about that when it's a little closer, a couple months away, and we'll
set up
we'll
a protest. Let's organize a protest.
A protest at the NRA?
No, we'll protest like shoe porn or something.
Shoe
but
porn
out in front of the NRA.
That's what we do. We get a booth and have no SOE gear in it. we have one fishbowl with a combat cock.
Yep.
There would be dudes lined up to buy ghillie suits.
No, I don't think so.
Of course, anything SOE makes, dudes line up to buy. Skully, you may have just got yourself into making ghillie suits. Get ready to rock them out. Jeff would have a bunch of naked ladies, like National Geographic. Naked, saggy titties. I'm like, why do you got all these bitches naked so they can't steal the ghillie suits?
That's right.
Just like New Jack City.
Because they would
be up in there.
You'd have to, because that's what happens. Somebody be trying to smuggle out a ghillie suit in their coochie.
Would you actually use?
I would love to have Pookie running my ghillie suit line.
Would you use actual sandbags? Would you take them apart to get the jute and the burlap, or would you do that bullshit and buy like just rolls of fucking already prefab bullshit?
It just depends on what you could get.
And nowadays, all the sandbags are all nylon. So would you?
Yeah,
it's hard to
get the cloth sandbags, man. They don't exist anymore
because they rot.
But I know a place in Yuma, California, or
on the border. It's
right there on the border,
California,
that has a warehouse full of that stuff. So if we have to do it,
it burnt down.
I will drive out there and be like, hey, I need all that fucking burlap you guys have been holding since World War II.
That's what it is, right? It's that depot.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Fun. See you tomorrow. What podcast was this?
95.
Oh, 95.
Hour and 45 minutes.
Woo! Good times. But you did poop in the middle of it.
Chef poisoned me.
He did. This is sauerkraut. Over fermented.